Well, first of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share with you our history and our success in Dubai Silicon Oasis. Uh, the success of this place is before for 15 years in a desert. So it was an empty land, just like other stories in Dubai, where you start from a brown, not green land, but it's a brown sand, and convert it into a successful project. And the success story for us here is really building the integrated community here that really make you like to start your business here, work and live and be entertained in one place like DSO. So for us, attracting people from all over the world to come and establish their business here and really try to see their future from this focal point is really a success for us. And we will be more successful when we see our companies grow and we have a lot of success story by them. So that will make us really happy and very successful. Well, I think this was also a direction by our leadership where they wanted to see that the real integration of success must be through the well-being of people and their happiness, and making Dubai as a target by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid as the happy city in the world, the happiest city in the world. So for a success of happiness, we need to understand what is happiness. We need to define happiness before we go, and there is different definitions of happiness. But let me give you a quote of happiness, very simple. Happiness is equals reality minus expectation. To elaborate more, I'm not expecting from this meeting to be a superstar and my video will go viral and all this. My expectation that I pass the message to the right people and really leave a trace or a print in their mind about DSO. So that's it. But if it went viral, that will give me more happiness. So this is where happiness is important to be understood. But happiness is not something that you go and buy it off the shelf. You have to build it from scratch, and you have to build an ecosystem around it also, and set the right expectation of people to make the happiness as a daily practice rather than a one-time thing that can happen. It's not like by giving some financial rewards or giving, conducting a party or a ceremony. No, it is really a lifestyle, and that's why now the government also moved from using the word happiness into well-being. So it's a full city program for making the citizen here going through a well-being program. So that's the idea of happiness. So we worked from bottom up and really, I will not say bottom up, we worked from heart out. So from the kernel to the outside, understanding what each employee will make happiness a real meaning for him. So we use something we call it a wheel of life. So it's a holistic approach to assess the happiness in that individual to make it full, and we fulfill it for him. So based on this one, we have a full navigation map of happiness for each individual and the corporate. So this is how we went through this experience since 2000. It was a long time ago, but we practically moved from 2015 into really adopting this. Well, you see, the image of a startup is always somebody who's workaholic, addicted to coffee, doesn't take shower, busy trying to achieve his goal, and facing all these challenges. Maybe he's short in cash also. But if we look into what he's trying to prove, is really his thought and his dream. So if he lived that moment of the post-success earlier. So seeing the end of the tunnel coming in hand, that will help them really to see the happiness. And since it's always a startup, it's a team base. It's more like a one family growth that they are seeking for a success. I think this is the moment where they need to take it in a very happiness environment and very happy moments for them, because it might not be repeated. If, or with God's will, this company succeed and grow, you might not see each other again. Somebody will be in different branches, somebody will be... So that moment of the creation is the most happiest moment for any startup. Provided they look into that they will succeed and they will have all the tools, and let's say that mission was not successful. The outcome of it is the lesson learned and the bonds that happen during that period. So it is always happy moments in successful or in really failing, but you always been together in one team. So for me, I really adore and respect when there is a startup and they are really taking care about themselves and they are so passionate about their dream, because they have a group dream. It's not one dream or a Khalid's dream or Linda's dream. No, it is the dream of the team. And that's really the moment or the secret of happiness. Now, this is the thing. There is the want and the need. And we see a lot of technology that provide the want, but they forget the need. And the situation is we need to focus on what really pain that we are trying to relieve, what problem we are trying to solve. And using innovation and technology and anything else, sometimes the solution is so simple that you don't use it. So it is a matter of what problem you are trying to fix and solve. And here where innovation falls. And if I put the terminology of innovation equals the idea in the process and the value. That's the simple definition of innovation. So what is the process? It could be the technology or it could be no technology. Sometimes you don't need a technology for an idea to give you a value. So here it's important. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves and try to make a breakthrough left and right where the need is not fulfilled. So understanding the problem, really looking at it from a different perspective and beating the status quo of that idea or that problem will lead to innovative ideas, will lead to the right technology to be used. Sometimes we go into a circle of using just an AI technology where the problem doesn't need an AI. I can always go back to the innovation of I need to go to the space, but what's delaying me is the ball pen is not been tested in space because of the gravity. So I have to solve that problem. Meanwhile, the Russian went to the pencil. So you don't need to be genius in one problem that is a luxury where you need to fix and need stuff. And this is where we think all our startup here, they need to focus on are they filling the gap of solving a problem, filling the need of people or not. Sometimes the passion overtake that startup or that individual because I know this will do miracles. And I try to convince some of my friends here also that no, try to focus on the main thing first. Don't get that luxurious things, which is really an essential thing, but not now. Well, this meeting happened busy before Corona. My answer might be different, but since we are AC now, after Corona, I think this is the main time for health tech to play that role. And having said so, I think we need to come up with something very futuristic, yet needed now, to integrate all the health points that is required for individuals and for countries really to oversee everything and take immediate action, like an air traffic controller who can see the, let's say if I will give the example of pandemic and the pandemic heat map and the way that reaction needs to be done and the prevention, all this, if it happened in a very alerted way and proactive way, maybe we could have really overcome a lot of problems that we went through. So using any kind of technology in the medical field can also prevent us from going into very hectic situations in that sense. So what I envision is really seeing that the medical innovation will help into prevention more than really curing. So that kind of early detection, looking forward or using the proper analysis to predict something based on the technology and the big data, that will help us really prevent pandemics and prevent serious diseases. And I don't always like to talk about diseases. I am a prevention guy, and I like always to talk about how to be alerted from the beginning. Well, as I was highlighting on our role as a DSO is really creating that ecosystem, and with the help of the startup and why we are bringing RIT in DSO, because we saw the need of really building that kind of ecosystem and that integration. So we needed the education system to be there, the academia is there, the business experience is there, and that kind of collaboration gives you the let's say the successful integration and the win-win stories that we want to achieve here in DSO. So we need to play that orchestrator also as a DSO, because we have academic city next to us, we have great startups, and we have also some experience of people or companies that you work hand in hand with the university to achieve certain goals for them and for the education system here. So, and that's where now we have the new campus of RIT, the hands-on experience that we want to provide for our students is the ultimate goal for us really, because we don't want people or students to get the experience post-graduate. We want them to be really doing it within. And we can add something else. We are now also licensing students to start their business while they are studying. So that will help also including them in the startup field while they are doing their education and make them ready for the new venture. It is very important really to Prognica to look into who are their heroes, okay, and build that kind of avatar about them and see the scenario of the story of those heroes and where Prognica is really helping or really providing the value for them. So it's very important to understand, are we helping the hospital, or are we helping the individual, or we are trying to really build up the awareness? So we need to analyze that persona in detail and know exactly what will ease his pain and what will give him his gain. And for Prognica is really, am I providing the full solution for them as a need, or I'm just really focusing on other things? So it's awareness is really trust, is commitment that you need to gain that kind of facilities, or I would say items from the individual. So identify who's your hero or who's your avatar that you want to look at, and try to analyze it very well. Since you are doing AI, so why you don't do AI on your customer more than just doing AI on the image? So I think this is one of the key success factors that you need to focus on in order to create the right map for your customer journey.